ball pit. But he managed to go for, I mean, like the ask was 10x voting shares more than any other company. 20x if they crossed certain thresholds, right? Like, didn't he get like a 20x vote?
Right.
He managed to Newman managed to pay himself $700 million before the failed IPO. He cashed out a whole bunch of his stock. He was going to pass the company to his wife in the event that he died in so much Redstone fashion, right?
Yeah.
And now he's golden parachuting himself out of his failed company for hundreds of millions of dollars on top of it,
for a company that can't even afford to pay its workers to fire them,
and making a phone call might give you formaldehyde poisoning.
That's true.
It's incredible. It's an incredible corporate governance. Like, they're going to write case studies about this and how bad it was.
I hope you're right.
But now the question is, who do you own that's like this already in your portfolio and don't even know it?
Well, everyone in tech. How about that? Except for Uber.
Bingo! Looking at you, Lyft and Snap.
All right, let's hope this is the last bit of WeWork talk for a little while. Although if there's more chance to shame Mr. Newman,
no way, because he retained the rights to his biopic.
Okay, in our big data category, let's get back to our Zuckerbergian farce because it's just too hard to
so much
quit
of it.
So there's news reports today that the Facebook czar and his wife have been recommending staff hires to presidential candidate Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Way to keep a low profile, Zuck. Now nobody will worry that you are manipulating U.S. elections. On top of that, a bipartisan group of senators introduced a bill called the Access Act, which would require large tech platforms to create a tool that makes it easy to transfer personal data between services. In other words, making it easier to say bye-bye to Facebook, right?
So,
and I'm guessing that Mayor Pete is not part of this bipartisan group. That's just a guess.
Let's go back to Mayor Pete for a second.
Yeah.
It would be disingenuous to suggest that every CEO isn't doing this, right? Isn't every CEO, like anybody who's got access to
is counseling? It's like a premeditative lobbying, right?
Yeah, this is what you pay for access for. Like, it's stupid to think that this doesn't happen.
Except that your platform has already been tarnished as the one that probably completely blew up the 2016 elections in favor of the Russians. And one of the most popular presidential candidates is already saying they're going to try to break you up, right?
Yeah, and Mayor Pete now, this actually reflects worse on Mayor Pete than it does on Zuck, doesn't it? Like, because now Mayor Pete's the one who's like,
he's in the
pocket
bed with the Zuckies. Yeah.
I don't know. I just, this to me does not seem like Zuckerberg hate. This seems like, yeah, duh. What the hell is the point of being a billionaire if you can't call up an elected official or potential elected official and get influence? What's the point?
I guess you're right, but isn't it time for Zuck to just quiet down for a while? What if a Warren wins? I mean, she is going to come after him, and she may very well take care of business.
Look, I don't know about you.
She's smarter than him. She actually finished school, unlike Mr. Zuck. So I don't know why he doesn't
zing.
I don't know why he doesn't just relax a little bit.
I don't. Yeah, but Zuck has a fallback plan. I don't know if you've seen his barbecue videos. Go search for Zuckerberg meat videos on YouTube. Meat. Okay. It's not meatless meat. He is barbecuing brisket and telling you about it. But point number 2, this deletion campaign, right?
Yep.
You can delete your account on Facebook.
Yeah, you can. But it helps when old, rich, white men tell you that you can do it easily, maybe? I don't know.
Not only that, who would you transfer it to? Instagram, also owned by Facebook?
Yeah.
TikTok, owned by the Chinese?
Yeah, I think TikTok. I think that's the way to go.
I mean,
at least it's fun. At least it's funny.
Where does it go? I mean,
yeah.
This seems like an exercise in trolling big tech more than it. I mean, like that more than it is like a real thing.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a actual reaction to the fact that maybe people feel trapped by being attached to platforms like Facebook, right? Like they feel like it's like a utility, right? Like they feel like they have to be a part of it. So maybe this is like a way out.
So you mean the 45-plus-year-old crowd still on Facebook feeling trapped by Facebook?
Who are sick and tired of, being told by the Russians who to vote for. Which I guess now is Tulsi Gabbard, supposedly. Anyway.
So as an investor, what do I care about this? Now I have what? Nobody also leaving Facebook again because there's nowhere to go?
I think you only care in this sense is that like there is a reckoning. There's like a big tech reckoning coming, maybe, right? I mean, you keep one eye on the Democratic presidential candidates because there may be people coming. That's all I can think.
The eye that's infected with pink eye, is that the one that I keep? I don't know, man. I just feel like all these are hems and haws at the edge of regulating big tech.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's still, you either antitrust these companies and force them to be split up, like you arguably should have done with the big banks, which we'll get to.
Right.
Or you just accept the fact that our social media overlords rule sort of all of our data.
That's a fun thing to accept.
I live in the real world. I don't know where you live in Portland, Maine.
I live here. I'm killing this category. Let's move on to, I was going to call this category Inside Baseball, but I think we're going to what about calling it Pillow Talk? I think that's a little bit better.
I like to call it, I'm thinking of it as Underneath the Pants.
Okay. Oh, look, you already named it. Okay, so this is like where we dive into some of the like, I don't know, how would you describe some of the little details of our industry, right? That you may or may not care about.
You should care about, but don't.
So today we're going to do a Should We Care Matt Day, right? So we're going to ask Matt if we should care about certain topics. So let's do it.
Pillow talk me.
First, Charles Schwab. I feel embarrassed having even said that. Charles Schwab. It just makes me seem like a loser. Charles Schwab will be the first major broker to let people buy fractions of stocks. Should we care, Matt?
Okay, so first of all, everybody pull out your third grade algebra book.
It's already out.
Because we have to remember what fractions are. So I just want to make sure.
Algebra, Matt.
Oh, right. Basic math. Everybody remembers algebra. So my immediate reaction to this was like, what's the point of a stock? This simultaneously seems like a good idea for access to sort of financial instruments because no one in their right mind can afford, a multiple $1,000 share of Amazon, but you might want to buy one. So congratulations, Schwab, for expanding the pool of potential buyers. That's actually kind of a cool thing. Simultaneously, what is the point of a share anymore? What's a share of anything? If I'm going to own 0.1 for like 1/64th of a share of Amazon because that's all I can afford, why call it shares? Why not?
Well, hey,
what is it?
At least now you're actually sharing.
I guess I'm sharing a share. That's so sad to me. Yeah, we just entered some sort of weird meta world.
All right. So I think Matt is saying there that we shouldn't care, right, Matt?
I actually think in the end I fully do care. I fully think now everyone should look at stock because you can buy like a penny worth of it.
Okay. All right. Next in Pillow Talk, or no, Underneath the Pants. Underneath the pants? What does that mean? Is that like
inside my pants?
The feet? Oh, so it's inside, because that would be the feet, right? Underneath.
Yeah, good point. We'll rename it to Inside My Pants.
McKinsey, the smart asses at McKinsey are saying that a majority of banks around the world may not be economically viable if the global economy falters. That sounds like something we should care about, Matt, but I ask you, should we care, Matt?
Oh, yeah, this is like Crisis 2.0. So we've deregulated the banks after trying to regulate them badly post-crisis. And they're all bigger. The big ones are all bigger. And the small ones are all just hoping to get bought by big ones. And now we're in sort of the same, if not worse shape than we were in 2008. So congratulations, global economy. You successfully suck.
Okay. That sounds scary.
So we should care. And the outcome is going to be reading lots of zero hedge and conspiracy theories and everyone just piling on the gold. Just buy the gold. Just buy it. Buy gold and Bitcoin. That's what's going to happen because everyone's going to be petrified. So fear.
They're just like sowing seeds of fear. That's what they're doing.
Fear me up, baby. Sowing. No one sows because a sow is a female cow.
Sow is a pig.
A sow is a female pig. Correct. Pig. Yes.
A female cow is a cow. Actually. A female cow is redundant.
Who says you can't learn anything on Business Pants?
All right. Finally, according to our one viewer, which is probably me, I'm going to say that they're all saying that. Finally, a new survey, and this I put this story in thanks to my wife Courtney, not to be confused with Matt's wife Courtney, who wanted me to throw this in there because this is her criticism about the use of her voice in our teaser podcast. But anyway, a new survey finds that 7 in 10 Americans have shed tears over their money woes as consumer debt hit a record $4 trillion earlier this year. So, Matt, should we care?
No.
Oh.
I mean, well, compare that to the number of times people have cried over, say, a MasterCard commercial. Are we? Well, I need a benchmark here. So I don't care until I have a benchmark because that's the way I work.
Can we be honest? If 7 out of 10 Americans are crying over their money woes, if we were just asking women, it would probably be like 15 out of every 10 women, right, are crying.
No,
when they hear about money being talked about.
No, I disagree on that count. I disagree. So, because women would be in a better position to cry because they actually know what's going on in their bank accounts,
and they have to deal with people like Charles Schwab and Ken Fisher,
which we'll get to.
Yeah,
it's not a day unless Ken Fisher's involved.
All right. I'm taking us out of Pillow Talk. Oh, no, sorry. Underneath the pants. Anyway, let's go to Biz Nuggets. We got a bunch of nuggets today. First, beautiful. In our pizza yes, worker empowerment no category, Google management tried to shut down an employee-led talk on unionization at its Zurich office. According to Recode, Google leadership wrote in an email canceling the event that it would host its own talks about labor laws and employee rights that bring a, quote, diverse set of presenters and perspectives. In other words, here's a man who will tell you unions suck, and here's a woman who will tell you why unions suck. See? A diverse set of presenters. Well, are we on the verge of a tech unionization, Matt? Is it possible? We're getting there?
Oh, it's been at the edges. I got one question though.
Oh, it's on the edge.
Are they inviting the contractors to that conversation or
no?
Okay.
They're probably the ones going out to get the We Hate Union shaped pizzas.
What percentage of ex WeWork employees will show up to these kind of talks?
Pitchforks? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think they can afford to go to Zurich anymore.
The tech unionization is it's not just, it's a foregone conclusion. It's happening, and it's going to happen in the next 3 years. One of the major tech companies is going to have to contend with a union within it.
I'm guessing it's going to be Facebook.
That's my big prediction.
All right. You heard it here first.
Mark it down.
Our first prediction of the new season, which is what? Facebook is awesome? Is that a prediction? All right.
No.
Our second biz nugget in our Who Knew category. Did you know that the fashion industry emits more carbon than international flights and maritime shipping combined? Did you know that?
They're still trailing cow farts, but they are. I did not know they were that high. So,
in fact, the fashion industry produces 10% of all humanity's carbon emissions and is the second largest consumer of the world's water supply.
I really need to do an accounting, because I feel like every industry accounts for 10% of the world's carbon. I think we're like 140% of the world's carbon.
That might be the point, yeah.
But look, the takeaway is everything we do is bad for the environment. That's my takeaway.
It's a good takeaway.
So can I say that? Can I stop wearing clothes? Is that where this goes?
Well, are those actual clothes you're wearing, or is that part of the green screen?
No, it's all green screen, Don. I'm actually wearing nothing at all.
Can I say one of the reasons why I pulled this story is because, we often relate the climate activist movement with young people, right? At least I do, because I think they're the only ones who seem to care. So thank God for the children. But I don't know if like people like this, the young kids would know about this, because part of the reason why this is happening in the fashion industry is due to this phenomenon known as fast fashion, where they're producing a lot of cheap shit really quickly, which most of it is worn for like 4 months and ends up in a landfill. So I'm looking at you, Greta Thunberg, and I want you to tell your fellow classmates to stop it.
Well, they are. The biggest growth trends are in rental fashion, which is basically people able to recycle, a season's worth of fashion over and over and over again without buying it anymore, which is a big deal. And I think actually fashion may end up being as big a deal. The rental fashion may be as big a deal as ride sharing.
I could use a new shirt. This one is very boring. In our next business nugget, in our you idiots category, according to a class action lawsuit, Equifax employed the username admin and the password admin to protect a portal that contains sensitive user information. I mean, come on.
This is actually there's been a rash of even like the most secure sort of processes in Bitcoin, like in the blockchain. Turns out like people can still screw it up by making their, user key, which is supposed to be uber encrypted. The password's just password or the number 1 or people. I think your takeaway here is people find a way to fuck it all up. That's pretty much it.
and they should be liable. You idiots should be liable. Next but Uncle Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the world, worth more than 129 of 185 countries. Yes, Jeff Bezos is worth more than the GDP of 129 of 185 countries. Category. Wait, let me start over.
Is that a category?
Yeah, that was a mouthy category. Here's the news. Expired food is regularly sold to consumers via third-party vendors on Amazon. Why? Come on, Jeff.
Well, I can't get my mind around whether this is a big deal or a little deal. Does it say something about like the QA? Well, like whose responsibility is that though? The vendor's responsibility? Is Amazon just a platform? Ooh,
how about
think
Uncle
about
Jeff?
it.
How about
no.
$130 billion? How about he takes some responsibility?
Think hard. Is Amazon just a platform like Twitter for vendors? Mind blown. I don't think anybody has responsible for anything anymore.
Finally, in our Me Too Rules sexist drool category, Fidelity has officially broken with creepy Ken Fisher's Fisher Investments. And now Kenny Boy Fisher, our favorite new sexist, is now personally responsible for the loss of $1.8 billion in assets.
Congratulations, Kenny. Apparently talking about genitals as a business move, not hot.
Coincidentally, about the same amount of money that Adam Neumann is going to walk away from a company that loses money on the regular.
See, it is a zero-sum economy. Men
win. All right, let's jump into Matt's ball pit.
All right, so welcome to my ball pit. So because and I forgot to put up my fancy logo for my ball pit, but because in honor of Adam Neumann Day and WeWork Day, I wanted to actually understand. Now, I don't want anyone to get confused. When I say golden parachute, I don't want anyone to get confused with a golden shower. They're very, very different things. Okay.
We're gonna edit this out. Don't worry.
There's no way we will. Adam Neumann taking home millions of dollars. I think it was 120. What was it? 120 some $million in basically cash, and then a whole bunch of stock.
Altogether, it's 1.7 billion.
But with the stock, it's like,
and he's getting 500 million to help repay a loan.
I just want to know, like,
what he's getting. I think
his cash take home was like
100 million,
120 plus million. Okay, so this is what's called a golden parachute. When someone buys the company, or there's a merger or an acquisition of some kind, an executive of the company is basically given a whole bunch of cash. A lot of times it's actually written in as a guarantee before they even get the cash. Now, I don't want you to get bored by a definition, but only 2% of companies, and this is an important takeaway, 2% of companies in basically the investable universe offer golden parachutes.
2%.
And of those companies, that 2%, this is a tiny number of companies, 1 in 5 investors are pretty fucking pissed about how much those CEOs are already getting paid. Forget what they're going to get if they get axed, what they're already getting paid. So these are companies, they're in the minority, and investors already don't like them. Now, I want to call this the full Adam Neumann.
Okay. Can we get that? Yeah, let's see that. Okay.
So, these are
for those
companies.
of you listening at home, for those of you listening on our podcast, we direct you to freefloatmedia.com to see Matt's wonderful slides.
Number 1, companies that have golden parachutes. This is a full Adam Neumann. Number 2,
full Adam Neumann.
Those companies also have negative earnings. They do not make money.
Don't make money.
Congratulations. And number 3, the CEO has been on the job for more than 1 year. So it's not like some new CEO, probably a white male, who's come in to save the company, like some sort of...
Probably a white male, but go ahead.
So I actually isolated all the companies in the investable universe, roughly, the larger companies in the investable universe that fit this criteria.
Right.
There are a number of them. One big one stands out. Now, first of all, one that stood out was Two Cows. Do you remember Two Cows from like 1995? You used to download like free software from them. I went down this. I went down this. It was freeware. I went down this rabbit hole of Two Cows because I can't believe they still exist. But I'm looking at you, Allergan. Now, you all might know Allergan as that company that sells you pharmaceuticals of some kind.
Right. Okay.
Allergan just got not bought yet, but they're in talks to be bought by AbbVie, another big pharmaceutical company. Mm-hmm. And Allergan's CEO is slated to make $38.7 million for selling his failing company. Well, when I say failing, I mean they're not making any money, to another company. And he's still short Adam Neumann by more than $160 million. So the worst company in the publicly traded universe is still $160 million short of Adam Neumann's golden parachute. Maybe it should be his golden shower chute.
Ooh. Good for you, Adam. So I guess we're learning that you make more money not dealing drugs, but having a place to do your drugs. Is that what we're learning?
You make more money spraying formaldehyde on your phones than you do making the drugs of formaldehyde, making formaldehyde itself. That was my ball pit today.
It's a good ball pit, but I have to ask, because I know all of our millions of listeners,
followers and listeners,
are begging me to ask this question. Is it really Allergan? You don't think it's
Allergan.
Allergen?
No, it's Allergan.
Really? Why? So they took allergy.
I reached out to I know some
Idiots.
Analysts on the sell side covering Allergan, and I had to ask them. So they told me it's Allergan, and they also told me, Allergan may be getting better, but still some things to suck about.
Even a sell side analyst, whatever the hell that is, they can be wrong too, man. All right, that's a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday. It was a busy Tuesday. It was a WeWork day. And come back here tomorrow where
we'll be here
I'm going to wear another tie and we're going to discuss Adam Newman ripping you off.
Are
we? All right. We can be done with that.
Free Float Media. See ya.
Talk to you.